Finance Minister has already confirmed what the markets was acting all along. An impending merger among the 12 public sector banks. According to the Minister, India definitely needs lots of big and world-class banks, and the government has already begun the work on it by initiating discussions with the Reserve Bank of India, and banks are going to be seeing how public sector bank amalgamation can now be taken forward. For more on this, we're also joined by my colleague, but let's first listen into what Finance Minister had to say.
India needs a lot of big banks, world-class banks, and for that, of course, we will have to sit and talk with the Reserve Bank and also with the banks themselves to see how they want to take it forward, and also discuss with RBI about how they have a idea of taking or idea of building larger banks. So there's a lot of work to do prior to my saying, yes, I've taken a call or government is looking at this way or that way. And in that, work has already commenced. We are discussing with RBI, we are discussing with banks. It's not by creating from among those which exist today just by amalgamation. That can also be one of the route. But you need an ecosystem and also an environment in which more banks can operate and operate to grow. So that environment is actually well established in India, but I need it to be a bit more dynamic. So some work is happening on it.
Coming to you, Mayuresh, on PSU banks, what exactly is your thought there? And are you looking at the space positively as well?
Well, absolutely. I think our take is that purely based on numbers and earnings delivery has been stellar for PSU banks so far. And on all counts, I think if you're looking at advanced deposit growth, if you're looking at the CASA deterioration, which is largely behind us, the provisioning and the excess provisioning that they've done on their balance sheet, the stability in asset quality. And therefore, I think the commentaries that are coming through in terms of NIMs and spreads being maintained or that the banks will be able to maintain, and decent growth going forward with valuations and risk reward at their side. I think the rating, rankings, institution holding parameters that we see at Markets for India all look good. Obviously, I think how the dynamics will work going forward in terms of mergers for each individual bank will depend on the ratios that ultimately get worked out. But generally, as a space, we remain extremely constructive.
Okay. Let me also go across to my colleague Karishma yet again to give us all those details as far as the PSU Bank's merger is concerned. Karishma, what are you hearing? What could be the timeline? What could be the proceedings that we could now look at, and how the processes will develop?
It's definitely nothing new. In fact, consolidation has been a part of the 10-year agenda of this government. We were at the helm of about close to 23 banks. We've got them down to 12 in the last 10 years. And now the word is on that the government may actually bring it down to close to 8 or 9 of these. In fact, two big initiatives that the Department of Financial Services has been holding is one, to allow more foreign investment in PSBs. That has been the talk of the town, and my sources hint me that could be well expected before budget. And if that happens, it will definitely pave path also in a lot of interest that is coming towards PSBs in India. The second one is also participation of private sector employees as a part of a PSB board. Recently, there was one announced for SBI. Finance Minister has reiterated the fact that Indian banks need to go global, and currently it's just one of them that stands to be in the top 25 list. The efforts are on to bring more and more public sector banks as the front-running image of the country.
All right, Karishma, thanks a lot for all that update. Of course, this is one space that it will be in focus for some time. Up until the announcements start to pour in on the amalgamation on the PSU banking story as well. Shell, I'll come back to you as well. We've been seeing how Karishma pointed out that from 23 banks, we're down to 12, and now we're going to be seeing some more action on the merger front as well. We have been seeing a lot of technical analysts also bet big on PSU banks over the last couple of weeks too. What exactly is the understanding there? The top banks, how are they doing? And the second-rung banks, how are they doing at this point?
I think, Sakshi, two important things will happen. Let's look at those banks which will survive this merger and acquisitive bid and become bigger. So definitely State Bank of India, because it's the 26% of Indian banking is owned by SBI. You have Indian Bank already at a record high. That, according to you, is according to the market, a winner. Now that leaves us with Canara Bank and Bank of Baroda. Canara Bank has listed two of its subsidiaries, which is the insurance space with HSBC Life and its mutual fund arm with Rebecco. My understanding is that Canara Bank will also be amongst the survivors, and of course Bank of Baroda. So these are the four big ones that will definitely survive. One or two more regional giants, maybe Bank of Maharashtra. So these are the five winners that are there. And when you look at how these valuations are compared with private sector peers, there is definitely a scope for further upside on PSU banks. This is what the broader market is thinking.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.